All right. What's up, family? What's going on? Coming in a little bit blurry. How are you? Apologies for the delayed start. My camera was not working. Am I blurry? Am I blurry? Am I blurry? Am I blurry? Somebody said, yeah. All right, let me see. There we go. Did that work? Or is it still a little blurry? Y'all don't have to see me anyways, but let me try to clean off this camera real quick, y'all. Technical difficulties today. Yeah, it's still a little blurry on my end, but it's all good. Y'all don't have to see me anyways, because I'm gonna share my screen in just a second. Let me get us started on Instagram. I hope y'all are well. Boom. All right. Okay, cool. Thank you all for being here today for the Financial Church. I see a lot of folks in here. How many of y'all were there for my Queen of Four interview this morning? How many of y'all came through? Let me know in chat. Aaron was there. Who else was there? That was a blessing to be able to share that with her audience. It's on my Facebook page. It was only about 12 minutes, but it was good. And of course, just sharing the same principles that I teach here with you on a weekly basis. All right. So with that, I want to jump right in. For those of you who are joining us on IG, you can go to juliangordon.com/TFC, the Financial Church, to go join us here on Zoom. When you join us on Zoom, that will allow you to follow along with the slides. I'm a visual educator, so I use a lot of imagery in my teachings, and so I want you to come on and be able to see us and see everything there. My camera is getting blurry here on Zoom. I don't know why. Let me try to switch cameras real quick. All right, now I'm frozen. Come on, technology. All right, there we go. I think we're good now. All right, cool. So excited to have you here. Welcome to the Financial Church. My camera is tripping right now, but I'm gonna share my screen anyways, so it'll be all good. Teaching is not about me. You don't have to see me at all, but I want you to get the message. So I'm gonna share my screen since the camera is acting up, and we're gonna get right into it. Again, thank you everybody who came out to see me teach or be interviewed by Queen Afua. She is a mother goddess walking here on the face of the earth. She's mothered so many into divine oneness. So really grateful for her and her platform. So I am sharing my screen. Please let me know that you can see me and hear me. Again, if you are joining us on Instagram, you want to come over to juliangordon.com/TFC, and we're going to get right into it. So confirm that you can see my screen. We're good? All right, cool. Good. All right, so we are in the second part of our three-part series called Unsecure the Baggage. Unsecure the Baggage. In part one, we talked about pick up your math and walk. Pick up your math and walk, which is a play on pick up your mat and walk, where Jesus had come to the pool and asked the man if he wanted to be well. We changed that question to, do you want to be wealthy? Okay, do you want to be wealthy? Okay, and wealthy is not just financial for us here. Wealthy it has to do with our mental wealth, our financial wealth, our spiritual wealth, all around our physical wealth. It has to do with our all-around wealth. We're looking for true wealth, not the kind that rusts, not the kind that can be stolen or that can be lost. That's what we're seeking. That's what we're going for. Now, we do use and leverage money in order to create that, but that is not the basis of this teaching whatsoever. All right. So with that, the subtitle is How to Release Financial Shame and Forgive Yourself for Debt. How to release financial shame and forgive yourself for debt. All right. So for those of you who are new, type new in the chat if you are new. If you're joining us.
What's up? It's Julian Gordon here. Oops. I hope you're well. And
what is
I just want to share my journey in terms of how I achieved
freedom.
Know
how that happened. Huh. All right, we're good. A lot of new folks here today. Wow, this is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And if you're a vet, type vet. If you're a vet, type vet. A lot of vets out here in these streets. Good, cool, beautiful. For those of you who are new, and even those of you who are vets, I always want to go over the definition of financial spirituality. So let's start there. The way I define financial spirituality is it is the practice of mastering manifestation and money, which is just stored energy, by learning how God creates and using the power of your mind, words, thoughts, feelings, imagination. We call it imagination here. We don't call it imagination, right? We use the power of images, prayers, and works to bring heaven, which is our mental experience of this reality, on earth, which is our material experience of this reality, so that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So that's how we define financial spirituality. Financial spirituality, we must know that these universal laws that I uncovered through primarily the Bible are always at work, whether we are aware of them or not. And to the extent that we are aware of the laws, we can actually use them and leverage them, okay? So we are all already masterful manifestors. You have manifested the life that you are living right here and right now. You have manifested it. Now, are there external factors that may be influencing you, or actually internal factors, which anytime we have an incongruent thought where we feel torn, that is the devil in us, okay? There's no devil, there's no being with a pitchfork somewhere that's red and burning fire. No, anytime we have an incongruent thought where we are going against our true self, that is the devil that is inside of us, okay? And so we are already manifesting, and sometimes we go against ourselves, right? And therefore we aren't actually experiencing heaven on earth. We aren't experiencing the life that we truly desire. And so anytime we give up power to other institutions, individuals, past events, right, or current conditions, we are saying that we as gods, as creators, God's lowercase this law must change. My history back here must change. Oops, my internet went out. All right. Can you see me? Man, technology today has been acting up. Let me know when I'm back. I'm back on Zoom. All right, cool. Whew, man, this has been wild today. Oh, is it not recording anymore? No, it says Zoom is still recording. I can hear you, but there's a recording playing in the background. Do you all hear something playing in the background? Do you hear something playing in the background, y'all? I'm on Zoom, recording is still playing. Not on Zoom. Okay, wow, this is interesting. This is interesting. All right. All right, cool. Keep it pushing, y'all. We'll push through it. So where did I leave off? So I read the definition of financial spirituality. We must realize that we are all already manifesting and always manifesting at every single moment in our lives with our thoughts, our words, our feelings, our emotions, our imagination, and our prayers, okay? Now, if you are a manifester and you have manifested the life that you have, we must come to the realization that we have full power and control as creators, as offspring of the creator. We are also creators. But anytime we blame or make excuses for why we aren't living and experiencing heaven on earth, we are giving up power to that individual, that institution, that group of people, that past events, or the current condition that we are facing. And so in this teaching, we take full responsibility for our experience of life right here and right now, because we do not like to give up our power. We do not want to be in a position where somebody outside of ourselves must change in order for us to have heaven on earth, okay? So the question is, am I deliberately creating the life that I have? And then if I am I creating the experience of life that I desire? Am I deliberately creating the life that I want, right? Am I being a deliberate creator, being intentional with my thoughts, right? And my manifestations? And have I actually created the life that I truly desire? All right. So here, we want to be very clear about what is money, okay? Because it is called the financial church, and money is like the second oxygen on earth. It is actually, it's the third. There's oxygen, there's water, and then there's money, okay? And our word, right? Music is also one, or vibration, okay? But we just perceive money as stored energy. That's all it is. It is stored energy, okay? It is useless until you use it. We are meant to multiply it. As good stewards, our job is to transmute it into ideals, ideas, individuals, and institutions we believe are doing good or God's work. And we must be mindful not to let it ever become our God, okay? We are to be mindful not to ever allow it to become our God. This little piece of paper right here has become some people's gods. Why? Because on the back of it, it says, "In God I trust." And when you name something, if I put something, my name, a name tag on me, then when you meet me at a networking event, you start calling me by what's my name tag. And so they decided to put God on here. The way we actually utilize this is different, okay? We don't use money in the way that people typically use money. Instead, we say, "In God I trust." We then release this money into the world, we circulate it, and when it returns back to us, which is our internal rate of return, how quickly the money that we release returns back to us. When it returns back to us, we say, "In God I trusted." So in God I trust, we release, okay, I don't trust in this. This is just green paper. I do not trust in this whatsoever. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. It's all monopoly, fake, fictitious fiat currency, okay? This is not what my trust is in. Okay, but I know that it has some stored energy that once I use it, it is now useful in the world. Okay, it is not useful right now. There's not much this piece of paper right now can do for me. I might be able to blow my nose in it. I might be able to wipe my butt with it, right? But at the end of the day, this piece of paper is not that useful until I actually use it. And so I say, "In God I trust," and I release it into ideals, ideas, individuals, and institutions that I believe in. And then when it returns back to me, which is my internal rate of return, right? And I want my internal rate of return to be as high as possible. Then I say, "In God I trusted." Okay. So this is how we think about money. We are transforming our relationship to money. And so this is what we teach here at Financial Church. Here we also, or I, in my own personal journey and experience with religion, I believe that the Bible is the richest book ever. Okay. I have a very biblical approach to financial spirituality, but you do not have to be Christian to benefit. What I'm able to do, only because the Bible is my background, I don't think of this book as the universal truth. There are universal truths in it, but I don't look at it in that way. So because of my background, this is where this is how I got introduced to God. And as a result, my perception is able to go into this book and extract the universal laws, which transcend religion, okay, and actually bring them to the surface so that you can be aware of them and use them. We know that, one, God is not Christian. We know that, two, the Bible is not Christian. And then we know, number three, that Jesus was not Christian, okay? And so coming from that awareness, we then can see this as a tool that has stories in it and allegories and parables that we can use to look at our own life and try to learn from, all right? In fact, what's very interesting, what you'll learn as you go along this journey, you have to explore this for yourself, but there aren't any graves for anybody in the Bible. There aren't any graves for anybody in the Bible. Like, you can't go anywhere and find the grave of anyone in the Bible. I'm gonna just let that sit for a second. You cannot, these are supposed to be some famous people of that time, and you're telling me that we cannot find a grave site of not one individual in these books? So, whether these books are actual fact or fiction, there are valuable lessons that we can use to transform our lives and help us see reality for what it truly is. Okay? I think I might have lost some folks with that one. All right. So as we go forward, I also look at Jesus as the richest man to ever walk the face of the earth, or the story of Jesus being a story of the richest man to ever walk the face of the earth. Why is this? Because Jesus didn't have to have material wealth, right? When you can manifest on demand, when you can manifest 5,000, feed 5,000 people from a few loaves of bread or a few fish, then you don't need to carry material wealth. You don't have to wear a Gucci belt. You don't have to drive a Mercedes Benz. You don't have to have a mansion, because you have understand the laws so well that you can manifest anything that you need or need for others on demand. Okay. And so Jesus didn't have to have those things. And this is a very high level of wealth consciousness. It's the highest level of wealth consciousness there is. And this is ultimately what we are all moving towards. Now, in this belief system, I believe. I'm not trying to convince you of anything that I believe. I encourage you to go experiment with these things that I've discovered for yourself. What I'm sharing with you through the Financial Church are things that I have used, beliefs that I have used, teachings that I have used to manifest at the level that I'm manifesting at. And I'm manifesting at a very high level right now, but I know I have a long way to go. And so again, I'm not trying to persuade or convince you into my belief system. What I am doing is I'm sharing my belief system in hopes that one or two things may actually help you become a more deliberate manifester in your life. That is it, okay? There's no conversions. We don't have members here. There's no ritual for how you become a Financial Church member. None of that, okay? This is my belief system that has allowed me to manifest at this level, and I continue to explore myself, universal law, to figure out how I can manifest at a higher level, okay? So some of those beliefs that are core to how I move through the world are: I believe that as a child of God, I have access to everything that is in God's will for me to have. I will receive it when I'm ready. I seek first the kingdom of God, knowing that all the things that I need will be added unto me. I don't work for money. I work for God first. I am about my father's business, and when I am, I will have life and have it more abundantly. I believe that I'm here to manifest the divine ideas planted in the heaven of my mind on earth, which is my material experience. And I believe that there is more than enough, I have more than enough, and that I am more than enough, for God is the infinite source of my supply, okay? These are some very core beliefs to what has allowed me to manifest at the level that I'm manifesting at. And again, we're not just talking about manifesting money. I'm manifesting movements. I'm manifesting transformation in people's life. I'm manifesting abundance in people's life. I'm manifesting just beauty, all around beauty, okay? I am experiencing heaven on earth. Do I slip out of it? That place, that internal mental place? Yes, I slip out of it, okay? I'm on my own internal journey. But for the most part, the default of my experience here in this realm right now is heaven on earth, okay? And I want you all to taste that, to experience that, and to feel that for yourself, okay? So here, and we start with breathing. Why? Because in Genesis 2:7, it says, then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So we all know that we are actually instruments, just like a flute or a clarinet or a trumpet. When it is breathed through by some other entity, okay, not necessarily separate, okay, and many times the artist is actually one with their instrument, okay, the artist is one with their instrument, then that is when the sound comes out. Most of us do not control our breathing. We do not control our breathing, and we don't think about our breathing. There is something that is breathing through us. The only way for us to stop our breathing is if we commit suicide. You may be able to hold your breath for 60 seconds, but at the end of the 60 seconds, something is actually going to force breath to come through you. So that means that we are connected to something that is greater than ourselves. And if we want to reconnect with that thing, all we have to do is reconnect with the breath. All we have to do is reconnect with the breath. We plug in our cell phones all the time to keep them charged and connected. We plug in the Wi-Fi all the time to keep our devices connected. We have to do the same thing. The way that we do that is through the breath. So here we take 30 seconds to connect with the creator, however you define the creator, whatever you call the creator. I'm giving you 30 seconds to connect with that before we go into this teaching. We call it a teaching because it is a mixture of teaching and preaching. We don't just want you to leave on some spiritual high, right? And we don't want a teaching without the spiritual foundation under it. So we call it a teaching here. And so I'm going to guide those who are interested through 3 deep breaths, 10-second deep breaths. And we, in heaven, we take heaven in, okay? And then we exhale, okay? We are very deliberate with our language here. We know the power of our word. Our word never returns void, right? And the subconscious mind receives exactly not what you meant. The subconscious mind receives exactly as you say as truth and as fact. Okay, so the way I'll lead this breathing, it'll be 3 breaths. It'll be 4 seconds in, it'll be hold 1 second, and then it'll be release 5 seconds. If for you doing a headstand is how you connect with your creator, if you doing a yoga pose is how you connect with your creator, do whatever you works best for you, okay? We don't necessarily name the creator here. Okay, creator, whatever you define it, whatever angle you're looking at the creator from, you looking at it from Allah, you looking at it from Jesus, you looking at it from Yahweh, you looking at it from Jehovah, you looking at it from what? We don't care about that here. It's about relationship over religion in this particular space. Okay, so let me guide you through these 3 breaths. Okay, 4 seconds in. Release. 4 seconds in. Hold. Release. Four seconds in. Hold. Release. Beautiful. So, as we talk about financial spirituality, wealth consciousness is equivalent to you and your relationship to air. When you relate to money in the same way that you relate to air, then you have achieved wealth consciousness. We don't think about where our next breath is coming from. None of you woke up this morning thinking about is there going to be enough oxygen in the world for me? You trusted that your mother, father, God, however you define that and call that, was going to supply enough oxygen for you today. Okay? And so wealth consciousness is when you relate to this thing, money, in the same way that you relate to air. And this is a very high calling, trusting that you will have what you need exactly when you need it in the exact amount that you need it. That is true wealth consciousness, where you never worry about money. Where Jesus was overturning the tables in the temple, that was really an allegory to say that the tables of the money changers, that was really an allegory saying that in this temple, we are not supposed to turn this temple into a space of money changing, where we are thinking about money all of the time. But in this realm, we have got caught up with giving this thing too much power. And when this teaching is about putting this green dollar and whatever other color currency comes in into its place, into its proper place as our servant, because you cannot serve God and money. You will love one and hate the other. Okay? So with that, we would like to move into our teaching today. Again, this is the 3rd part of our 3-part series called Unsecure the Baggage. Everybody talks about securing the bag, right? This is about unsecuring the baggage, which is how what we're bringing with us into the future that is stopping us from actually securing the bag. Before we secure the bag, we have to unsecure the baggage so we actually have some hands to grab the bag to secure with. All right? So this is Unsecure the Baggage, how to release the financial shame and forgive yourself for debt. Okay? So in week 1, like I said, we started with pick up your mat and walk. And we talked about the invalid, right? Which was really just an invalid thought and not true thought, sitting by the poolside, right? And Jesus coming and saying, pick up your mat and walk. Get up off of your excuses and walk. And we broke down that scripture and we looked at the metaphysical understanding and interpretation and the allegory that was written in that scripture, okay? Today, we're going to talk about don't look back. We're going to pull from the story of Lot and his wife. And then in week 3, we're going to go into forgive us our debts, Okay, so happy to have you all here. I encourage you to get pen and paper because it's about to go up. We don't say down here. It's about to go up. We are ascending. See, we don't want descendants. Descendants are things that go down. We are looking for ascendants. I want my daughter to be above me. Okay, so we are always trying to ascend. And last week we talked about the importance in that scripture of up and down. You could see it all throughout that particular story of this up and down that we are experiencing in life that we need to become more aware of. Okay, so again, everybody talks about securing the bag, right? Securing the bag. And we cannot secure the bag if we have bags in our hands. Okay, so we have to release the baggage that we have from the past, and so that we can move forward. A lot of people, not a lot of people, I hope not a lot of people, but you know, here's a Gucci bag, and you know, you go secure this bag, $2,590, then you have no money to put in the bag that you just secured, right? So this is not what we are talking about. This is not what we are aspiring to when it comes to wealth. Okay, so we want to unsecure the baggage. Last week we referenced Miss Badu, and I know she studied under Queen Afua, so I think this is appropriate just to rehash the lyrics from that song, Bag Lady. Bag Lady, you gonna hurt your back, dragging all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you, all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you. All them bags, one day all them bags gonna get in your way. One day all them bags gonna get in your way. I said one day all them bags gonna get in your way. So I think I hit it today. I think I hit it today. Right? So we know it is. Every preacher got to know how to sing. I'm not a preacher though, y'all. I thought I told y'all. Can I live? All right. I'm teaching, but I'm not a preacher, y'all. So with that, we know that this song applies to every area of our life, not just relationships, which Erica was focused on kind of in this particular song. So this reality that we have gives us emotional bondage and baggage and debt bondage. So here's a funny cartoon that I shared last week. Do we have to pay extra? My husband has a lot of emotional baggage, right? Unless you're flying on Southwest, you got to pay extra for that bag, right? And so then you see debt bondage and how this whole American dream and this system is set up to actually keep you in bondage. Literally, for some of you who are adults who have been working for 10 plus years, there are newborn children who were born in the last 30 minutes that have a higher net worth than some of you here today, okay? And I'm not doing that to shame you. This whole teaching is about overcoming financial shame, but I'm letting you know that there was outside forces that don't want you to know your divinity, that do not want you to walk in your purpose every single day, and therefore they resorted to debt bondage or financial bondage in order to keep you from actually living out your God-given purpose here on earth. When I talk about freedom, y'all, I'm not talking about kicking my feet up on a beach and doing nothing. For some of you, that may be it. That is not my vision of freedom. My vision of freedom is being able to do what I was called to do every single day without worry, okay? That is my definition of freedom. That is how I think about freedom, okay? It's not me just, do I need to take breaks and do I need to take vacations? Yes. I believe that leaders do rest. They must rest in order to do the work that they are doing at a high level and to do it sustainably, okay? I'm done with the idea of the sacrificial leader who burns himself out so much so that the people can no longer benefit from who they are, okay? So we want to create sustainable leadership models, more leadership models that are like a candle. If I'm a candle and I light your candle, I can light as many candles as I desire without ever losing my light. But the type of leadership that we put on a pedestal is a leader who gives up everything for the people and is left with nothing at the end of the day. So this is the new leadership models that we're exploring. When it comes to emotional baggage, there are literally programs that the media and entertainment have put into you in terms of what you're supposed to do when you're experiencing emotional baggage, right? They say you're supposed to go shop. They say you're supposed to go scratch his car. They say you're supposed to go eat a tub of ice cream. Like, these are literally programs. Nobody told you to go eat that tub of ice cream, right? That is not a logical thing to do when you are dealing with an emotional breakup from a relationship. But because you've seen enough images of it, your imagination, then the default thought that comes to you when you might end up in a bad breakup or something is go to the store and get ice cream and sit in my covers and eat it. That is not a logical thing to do, but that is a program that was installed into many of us through what I call unholy wood. Okay, it's not Hollywood, it is unholy wood. Unholy wood. All right. What is a man supposed to do when he gets divorced in his 40s or 50s? He's supposed to go get a red sports car and wild out and go get a 20-year-old, 30-year-old girlfriend, right? That is a program that is installed into folks. Now people say, no, Julian, that's what they did and therefore it got put in the movies. No, it didn't happen that way. It was put in the movies and therefore that's what they did. Okay, so we have to be aware of all the programs, little programs like this that get installed into us that are designed to predict our behavior. These programs are literally designed to predict our behavior and influence and determine what our behavior will be in certain situations. When the global pandemic came, you know that there are people, programmers, who we've allowed to have power over us. I haven't, but in general, the masses have, okay? They know exactly what you are going to do, how you're going to respond. They know exactly, okay? Because it's all part of the program. So we are taking the keyboard back, right? We're taking the keyboard back and we're actually reprogramming our own life. This is what the Matrix was really all about, right? So Einstein said it like this. He said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we use to create them. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we use to create them. So Einstein was talking from his third eye. And I'm gonna drop this in here. Woo, I'm gonna drop this in here. I didn't think y'all was ready for it, but it's on my heart right now. When Jesus supposedly died on the cross, what did you notice, y'all? Where was that the crucifixion supposedly taking place, y'all? What was the name of the place? There you go, Esther, Michael. Some call it Calvary, but it was actually called Golgotha, which actually means skull. So watch this. Whenever you see the three crosses, what do you notice about the middle cross, y'all? What do you know about the middle cross, y'all? When you see the three crosses, the middle cross is up high. Look at Einstein's face, y'all. Look at Einstein's face, y'all. The two thieves or crooks on the sides of Jesus were these two eyes. The human eyes through which we look at the world and we see it falsely. We see and have crooked thoughts because of these two eyes, but Jesus, the third cross or the middle cross, was elevated higher to be able to see in the third eye. Golgotha means skull, y'all. And here you have two thieves, and then Jesus in the middle. This is what Christ consciousness means, y'all. It means to be able to see life from the third eye, to be able to ascend and resurrect above the perceptions that we have coming through this flesh and through this physical form. Okay? Again, we cannot solve our problems, these earthly problems on earth, with the same thing we use to create them. So when we say mind over matter, right? The way to change matter is through the mind, y'all. The way to change matter is through the mind, not through matter. A lot of these social movements that we've had, we've tried to rearrange matter to change things, but you do not change matter through rearranging matter. You change matter through a higher level. This is why we say mind over matter, as above, so below. As above, up here in the heaven of our mind, so below, okay? And so we want to create congruence between the heaven in our mind and the what we're experiencing here on earth. That is the only space for unhappiness in your life, is when there is misalignment between what you believe and know is best for you and that you want and what you're actually experiencing. That is where unhappiness comes from. There's a cognitive dissonance inside of you. There's a misalignment. And so we are trying to get what we believe and see as possible for our life up here. We're trying to get that into our reality, okay? We're trying to get that into reality. On earth, we're just dealing with denser forms, right? We think that the physical body is dense. We think that it's a solid thing. We think that the table that your laptop is on, we think that that is a solid thing. It is not. If it was dense, then if it was a solid thing, then a saw could not cut through it. If you were truly dense, then nothing could pierce your body. But because these two crooks right here, these thieves, alter our perception of what is actually occurring, we can't see what is truly happening. All right? So what does this mean? This means that we saw physical problems from the mental and emotional level. And we saw mental and emotional challenges from the spiritual level. When you look at Alcoholics Anonymous, what do? They bring God. They don't bring a particular religion, but they bring God in because they know that they cannot solve a mental and emotional problem through mental emotional psychology. They know that only something higher than the mental emotional problem can actually truly address it. This is why in the 12 steps, God is integrated in. Because I cannot solve a problem at the same level of thinking that I'm actually on. Okay? So, what is debt? Debt is the result of seeking to reap before or more than you've sown, or taking more good than you've given. Debt is the result of seeking to reap, right? To benefit, to gain before or more than you've actually sown or invested, or, okay, taking more good than you've actually given, right? And Galatians 6:7 says it like this: do not be deceived, God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. This is a law that you cannot violate, y'all. And in this American society, you look at our national debt and you look at our individual debt. This is the law that we have sought to violate over and over and over again by trying to obtain things before we've actually invested or sown enough to reap enough to actually afford those things. This is America trying to violate a universal law. You cannot shake this law. I don't care what you do. It is law. All right? And so you can skirt it in every way that you possibly think you can, but there is no way to shake this law. If you want more, what do you have to do, y'all? If you want more for your life, if you want to have more things, or you just want to have more impact, what do you have to do? You have to sow more. It's like real basic, yo. It's real basic. So rather than just saying, I just want more right now and give me more now, and then going into debt, whether it's actual financial debt or universal debt, I'd rather be in financial debt than universal debt. Because we don't know what happens after this physical form is gone. I'd rather be in financial debt, which is here on earth, than being in universal debt. Okay? So we have to sow. If I want more over here, I can't just go get that thing right now. If I want $1 million, then I need to go help quite a few people get $1 million themselves, and I know that I'll be able to have $1 million. And again, I'm just saying that as an example. This is not just about money, though. Okay? If I want love, then let me go give love to those who are actually around me, and I'm sure that love for me will show up around the corner. If I want peace, then let me be peaceful everywhere I go and exude peace and bring peace into everywhere I go. And I know that peace will enter into my life. You get what you give. You get what you give. It is very simple, but we want to skirt it, and out of laziness, primarily out of laziness and impatience. Okay? Laziness and impatience. All right? So again, we do not compare or keep up with the Joneses. That is not the goal, because there are people on social media who look like they're living in heaven. They look like they're living in heaven, but if you would go look at their balance sheet and their cash flow, they're actually in hell emotionally and economically. So this is why you cannot use these two eyes and Golgotha in your skull. You cannot use these two eyes to actually guide your experience of life, because you don't know what it is that you're seeing. You don't know if what you're seeing is true or if it's actually false. Okay, so we have to operate from here, which is, some people call it our third eye, but I actually call it our first eye because it was there before these two eyes ever existed. This is actually our first eye, y'all. This is second and third. All right, so this is where we want to operate from. So the 6 emotional causes of debt. And I know this is a recap for those of you who were there last week, but here are the 6 emotional causes of debt. It's uncontrolled desire. Okay. Our eyes bigger than your work ethic. Your eyes are bigger than your work ethic. Impatience, you just can't wait. Comparison, keeping up with the Joneses. Laziness, unwilling to do the will. Financial illiteracy, misunderstanding money. Okay. And low self-esteem, leading to consumerism. These are the 6 emotional causes of debt. I don't just want to deal with debt on a financial level. Oh, just go cut more coupons and this and that. No, we need to solve debt from a higher level than it actually exists on. All right. So again, if you are new, all of these recordings are at thefinancialchurch.com. They're at thefinancialchurch.com. If you are new, we got a lot of new folks coming from Queen Afua's community and elsewhere. This ministry has grown through simply law of attraction. I do not promote heavily, and we continue to grow and expand, and I'm grateful for that because I know that through frequency and vibration, those who need to hear this or will hear it, and that is why each and every one of you are here right now. Okay, so when we go to scripture in Matthew 6, 9 through 13, this is Jesus, right? Even though that wasn't his name, okay? Couldn't have been his name. There was no J's in Hebrew, okay? So if it was actually Yeshua, so then this is how you should pray. Our Father, okay? Does it say my Father, y'all? Anywhere do you say my, does it say my Father, y'all? It does not say my Father. So just because John said, what is, I don't even know the scripture. Begat, I don't even know the scripture because it's just so false. It is so false. John's scripture, and God so loved the world that he begat his only son, something like that. And so people are out here thinking about Jesus as the only son of God. Yet Jesus himself, in teaching his disciples or his disciplines, right, how to pray, said, our Father. He didn't say my Father. He said, our Father. So if somebody says our Father, then what does that mean about us? What does that mean about our relationship? If this dude over here or this woman over here says our Father, what does that mean our relationship is? It means that we are siblings. It means that we are siblings. Jesus said, you will do even greater things than these, meaning that this is my older brother saying, like, look, I'm trying to make you better than me. How many are have an older sibling who was trying to lift you up and make you better than them? How many of you had an older sibling that was I tried to lift my brothers up as much as I possibly could. I wanted them to, I took the lumps from parents, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make it easier. I gave my little brother a car because I wanted him to have a richer experience in high school than I did. Like, I wanted them to have better. Why? Because that was my siblings. And guess what? My little brothers, they do not have to go through me to access my father. We share a father, okay? My parents got divorced when I was 1, so we share a father. They're my quote unquote half brothers. My little brothers do not have to go through me, the oldest brother, in order to talk to my father. They can go directly to my father whenever they want to. So this is about relationship, not religion. If your religion is not strengthening your relationship and it's weakening it by calling you a sinner, then you need to let that thing go. God does not give birth to sinners, okay? If you were a sinner, that means that you were doing it habitually. Do we all miss the mark? Do we all sin as in archery? When you miss the mark, it's a sin? Yes, we all miss the mark at different points in time, okay? We all miss the mark, but we are not sinners. We are children of God. And it's our identity that is so screwed up that has got us in the situation that we are in this world. So moving forward, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Again, that's what are we talking about? On earth as it is in heaven. We're trying to take everything in our mental experience, right? And actually manifest that on earth, which is our material experience. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our what? Forgive us our debts. Now we know that the word is also used sin here. Forgive us our debts as we have forgiven our debtors. Okay? So we are looking at this from a financial situation. And if we have the power to forgive our debtors, then what does it also mean we have the power to forgive, y'all? If we have the power to forgive our debtors, those who might owe us money, then it also means that we have the power to forgive ourselves. Some of us have got the forgiving understanding of forgiving others, But then we have not forgiven ourselves. We still have unforgiveness here for things that happened and occurred in the past. So we have the power to forgive ourselves, and that's what it means to unsecure the baggages. It means to forgive ourselves, y'all. We have to forgive ourselves, right? Now, practicing with forgiving other people is great, but you'll be better off forgiving yourself, and then naturally you will forgive others, okay? So the cycle of shame. The cycle of shame looks like this. Shame, guilt, secrecy, isolation, separation, trigger, and acting out, okay? And there's a financial cycle of shame that I've added on top of this. I don't know the source of this, but there's a financial cycle of shame that comes as such, right? And that is shame about debt. Then we have secrecy about debt. Then we go into isolation, and this is where we do things like eat ice cream or start shopping online, right? We're making these decisions in isolation, right? Nobody's watching. And then we go into separation from God and separation from our financial reality. This is why when we do our monthly accounting ritual, some people actually don't go through the steps because they want to be separated from their financial reality, okay? And then we get triggered, we get denied credit, we get denied a credit card, or we see a friend on vacation on IG, and we're like, man, I wish I could be on vacation. And then what do? Then we go buy something. We go buy a plane ticket because we think that we should have what everyone else has. And what don't we have a clue of, y'all? We don't have a clue of how much they've sown, and we also don't have a clue of how much debt they have. This is why we cannot compare. We don't have a clue of how much they sold 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that may make that vacation possible. Or if they didn't sow enough, we don't have a clue of how much debt they went in to have that vacation. So this is why we have to stop comparing, all right? So today, we're going to be exploring a scripture about Lot's wife looking back. You might have heard it before, her turning to a pillar of salt. How many of you heard this story before? How many heard this story before? Okay, and how many of you is it new? How many of you is new? See, this book is so special that a lot of these archetypal stories, one, were taken from other texts in the past and put into this book. But a lot of these archetypal stories, they just naturally fit and weave into the human mind. And this book is really a book of us understanding our mind in this physical form that we have, okay? So if you think you've heard the scripture, after today, you'll be like, oh, I never heard it like that before. So I'm gonna read it. It's Genesis 19, 13 through 26. So I'm going to read it now. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and his 2 daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, flee for your lives, don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee, flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in the sparing of my life, but I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I'll die. Look, here's a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. He said to him, very well, I will grant you this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. That is why the town is called Zoar. Okay? By the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plains, destroying all those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. All right? So, you know how I do with scriptures. And so let's get it in. All right? Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? And let me know. Y'all ready? Woo! Let's get it. So, with the coming of the dawn, what does coming of the dawn mean, y'all? Does it mean the actual coming of a day? Does it mean that night is coming? What does it mean? It means coming into a new understanding, a new day in your life. Okay? These are allegories. These are allegories. These are allegories. Jesus said, I always speak in parables. I always speak in parables. He's basically saying you can take nothing that I say ever literally. When I say the temple is going to be torn down in 3 days, I'm not talking about the actual temple. And even his disciples couldn't understand this. Okay? Almost everything here is allegory. Again, I say this to any Bible scholars that are here. Go find me a grave of all the hundreds and hundreds of characters in the Bible. Go find me one grave site. Go find me one, just one. All I'm asking for is one, y'all. Just find me one. Of all the hundreds of characters, these important characters, names canonized in this book, go find me one. And why is it that every city that we mention actually means something? Every city has a name that actually means something in Hebrew. Most of them don't exist on a map anywhere. And the ones that do were actually integrated for historical fiction to make the book seem fully real and factual. So, with the coming of the dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, and you will be swept, or you'll be swept away, and when the city is punished. And then when he hesitated, listen to this hesitation, y'all. What is happiness? In the simplest form, what is the definition of happiness? Happiness is going after what you want. So what is the opposite of happiness, y'all? What is the opposite of happiness? The opposite of happiness is not going after what you want, which is called hesitation. When you hesitate, you are doing the opposite of being happy because you are not going after what you want. Happiness is going after what you want. Hesitation is not going after what you want. So this is why hesitation is not a word to be played with. It is not an action to be played with in your life. Okay? So the men grasped his hand, and the hand of his wife and the 2 daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. Okay? As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, flee for your lives, don't look back and don't stop. Are we literally talking about looking back with our eyes, y'all? Are we literally talking about looking back with our eyes? No. We're talking about looking back with our minds in time. Yes, do not have regrets. Do not worry about the past, okay? Anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away, okay? Now, remember, yesterday or last week, we talked about the up and down. Where did Moses go get the 10 commandments, y'all? Where did Moses go get the 10 commandments? He went up. When you see Jesus pray, what does he always do? He goes up. Is he going up physically? No, he's going up in his consciousness. He's raising up in his consciousness. Flee to higher ground, mental ground, or you will be swept away by what is happening in the lower realms. Okay? This is about elevating our thinking, elevating our thoughts, elevating our consciousness. You'll see it over and over in the Bible. Jesus goes up. Moses goes up. Everybody goes up. Okay? Up, 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 up. We are meant to ascend and to elevate. Okay? Or resurrect. Perhaps that word will strike more of a chord. We are all meant to resurrect, not just a body. We are meant to resurrect and uplift our thinking. Okay? But the Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please, your servant found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Look, here is a town near enough to run to." Okay? Something that is near. When you have a thought that is near to you, what does that mean for you? When you have a thought that is near to you, what is that? I'm trying to get you all to think for yourselves. When you have a thought that is near to you, it means that you are in your comfort zone. It is a familiar thought, okay? So Lot is being told to go up in his level of consciousness, and he wants to run to a place that is near or familiar, not too far from where he is in his thinking at this moment in time, okay? And here's a key thing: it is small. It is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. Some of you think that you will be safe in your smallness. Some of you feel like it is safer to play it small. That is what this allegory is speaking to. You are being told to ascend, to rise up, to resurrect, but you are choosing to play it small because you think it is safer there. Y'all catching me? Y'all with me? So he said to him, "Very well, I'll grant you this request too." Why? Because the subconscious mind takes whatever you say is command. "I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it." I think another translation was that until you dwell there. How many of you heard the language pattern of dwelling on thinking? When you are dwelling on thinking, what is happening? When you are dwelling on thinking, what is happening? It means that you are sitting in it. You've been there for a while, right? That is becoming a thought pattern, okay? So God cannot serve you, right? Until you actually dwell there. So when we are thinking, sometimes we get some crazy thoughts. And we think that those are going to manifest, right? We think that that thought might manifest. I just got this crazy thought, and I don't know why that crossed my mind. And we think that that thought is going to manifest. No, it will not manifest. Why? Because you didn't dwell there. The thoughts and the thinking that you dwell in, that is what manifests, okay? Not these random thoughts that come out of left field that you are like, where did that come from? That's not what manifests. That's not where God operates. God operates when you actually start to dwell somewhere, where you start to make that thought a home. That becomes integrated into your belief system, okay? This town was called Zoar. Let me show y'all something. You want to see what Zoar means in Hebrew? Zoar means small or insignificant in Hebrew. A little one, as Lot called it. Go look up almost any physical location in the Bible, and you look up the Hebrew meaning, and you will find that it means something. These are the allegories. These are the allegories. Bethlehem, what is it? House of bread. Jerusalem, what is it? Place of peace, right? All of these are speaking to places in our consciousness. Places in our consciousness, okay? Egypt. Egypt was not called Egypt. Egypt was the Hebrew word for Kemet, right? And the Hebrew word, made it mean bondage, even though there's no evidence of any Hebrews ever enslaved in Egypt. No evidence whatsoever. Zero. There's no evidence whatsoever of any quote unquote Hebrews being enslaved in Egypt. I have not found one historical story that can be proven of brown people oppressing a pale people. I cannot find one historical story of brown people ever oppressing a pale people. We don't operate like that. They may operate like that. We don't operate like that. Okay? So let's keep it pushing. So again, God is saying, I cannot do anything until you reach it, until you dwell there, until you've been there long enough. So let me just get this straight, y'all. So some of y'all who are stepping into this wealth consciousness, you're moving from poverty consciousness to wealth consciousness by coming to financial church and doing other work that you're doing. And you believe that, oh, I've been coming to financial church for 3 weeks. My money should just start manifesting and I should be on my way to a millionaire. You are on your way to becoming a millionaire. Okay? You are. But you haven't dwelt there long enough. Your address has not been updated yet. You just got there. You just moved in. You still unpacking boxes. And so until you dwell there long enough, you will not start receiving packages at that location. Okay? So some of you are trying to rush the process. You have to dwell there because God cannot move until you've actually established that I'm dwelling here. I am dwelling in wealth consciousness. I have left poverty consciousness. I have left that place. I no longer reside there. And now I am dwelling here and I've put my roots in the ground here. And from roots, things can start to grow. Okay? So by the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land, and the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah. Again, another place that is not actually a place. It's not a physical place. You know what Sodom means, y'all? Or sodomize, you heard the word sodomize before? It literally means to go against God. It is the place within ourselves where we know we are going against God. These are allegories, y'all. It's not a physical place. We cannot go put Sodom and Gomorrah in a GPS and go there right now. We can go there within. We can go there and within ourselves and find the places in the areas of our life where we've literally gone against God. How many of us have gone against God in our eating? How many of us have gone against God in terms of our love life? How many of us are going against God in terms of how we work and relate to money? How many of us are going against God in terms of our purpose? Not doing what we are called to do. We go against God every single day. That is Sodom and Gomorrah. That place is within us. It is not a physical location. Okay? It is where we cater to the flesh. We do what the flesh wants and not what the God in us actually wants, what we actually know is best for us. So from the Lord out of the heavens, thus he overthrew the cities and the entire plain, destroying all of those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. Now, what does it mean to become a pillar of salt? In Egypt, if you were a pillar of salt, what would they call that in Egypt, y'all? What would they call it if you were a pillar of salt in Egypt? They would call you a mummy. It means that the corpse, the physical representation is there, but because she looked back, spiritually, she was still stuck in the past. You have turned into a pillar of salt because physically, Tutankhamun's tomb is still there. Physically, from an earthly standpoint, there is still a body there. But we know that there's no spirit or soul in that body. Because she looked back, she was spiritually and emotionally stuck in the past, even though there was a pillar of salt that represented her in the physical form in the current moment. She got mummified. How many of us get mummified? Anytime you are on your day job, daydreaming, you have mummified yourself. You are physically sitting at a desk that you don't want to be at, but you're thinking about vacation. You are literally imagining yourself on a beach in Jamaica. You are mentally over there, but physically you are here. Or you were at that same desk, okay? You are physically at that desk, but you're thinking about the argument you got in with your significant other last night. You are still stuck in the past. This is what it means to become a pillar of salt. This is not some salt that we could go break down and then start pouring some sea salt on our food. No, this is the corpse becoming mummified, okay? Her physically still being there, but mentally, because she looked back, she was stuck in the past. The place that she was trying, or her family was trying to flee from, she was still stuck there, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Okay? We are on a time continuum of here and now. If I ask you, where are you right now? What will always be the right answer? If I ask you, where are you right now? What will always be the right answer? The right answer will always be here. It will always be here. And if I ask you, what time is it? What will always be the right answer? Now. Time is made up. Time is a man-made thing. We made that up. The only time that really exists is here and now. This is why Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is in your midst. It is here and now. It is neither here and is neither there. It is here and now in your midst. We are on a time continuum of here and now, here and now, here and now, here and now. I just said that 3 seconds ago, man-made time, but guess what? We're still here and now. We're just on this cycle of here and now, here and now, here and now, here and now, here and now. Nothing else exists. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. All that exists is here and now. This is what it means to be present. And when they say the present, your presence is a gift, or the present is a gift, it's here and now. Because you have congruence between your spirit, between your mind, between your emotions and your body. They are all here at one time. We'd be so split, physically here, spiritually here, emotionally here. This is where financial shame comes from, y'all. Financial shame, I'm physically at this job that I don't want to be at. Spiritually, I'm at financial church, but emotionally and mentally, I'm in debt. But emotionally and mentally, I'm in debt. So physically, I'm here at this job that I hate. Spiritually, I'm over here, financial church, working on my wealth consciousness, but mentally, emotionally, I got my mind on this debt. All right? So this is what we're trying to break free from. Let me turn on this lamp real quick, y'all. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I noticed it's getting dark. I'm giving the light, it's getting dark. All right, y'all with me? Y'all with me? All right. So there is a reason. There is a reason why when you were driving your car, the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. There's a reason. Because your perception is supposed to stay focused on the here and now. You can use your peripheral vision. We can look at the cars way ahead, but the windshield is supposed to keep you present to the here and now. Imagine if you were driving a car and it looked like this, y'all. Imagine if you're driving a car and your rearview mirror looked like this. Your rearview mirror was half the windshield. What would that driving experience be like? That would be insane. That would be crazy. Because you would be spending half your time in the present and half your time in the back. It's dangerous. Yes, Andrea said it. It is dangerous. And this is how many of us drive the vehicles of our lives. We are still caught up in the financial shame, the shame, sexual shame, financial shame, relationship shame, parental shame. We are stuck in things that happen, educational shame. Like we are stuck in the past as opposed to being in this present moment. We need to shrink the rearview mirror, y'all. We need to shrink the rearview mirror so that we can be in the here and now. All right? So Luke 17:21 says, no one will say, see, this is Jesus, saying, no one will say, see here or there, for you see the kingdom of God is in your midst. Okay? It's in your midst. It's in the here and now. So here's a little diagram that I created for you for the here and now. Okay? The present moment. The present moment. So the here and now is right here on this thin line between the red and the green. Okay? This is the kingdom of heaven in the here and now. Okay? I'm not thinking about my to-do list on Monday. I'm right here with y'all right now. I'm not thinking about that thing that happened over here. I'm not thinking about the dent in my car. I'm not thinking about the oil light in my car. I'm not thinking about any of that. I am fully here, fully integrated, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically here with you right now. I'm experiencing the kingdom. There's no better feeling than this. When you're comparing, you're somewhere else. You're looking over at somebody else's grass instead of enjoying yours or even watering yours. Okay? So Jesus said, this is the kingdom. It is right here. All right? So Matthew 6:25-27 says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, or what you will wear. It is not life more than food, and the body not more than clothes. Look at the birds in the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Can any one of you by worrying, add a single hour to your life? No, you cannot. So worry, when you look at this diagram, worry is being here in the present moment and bringing a future fear or failure back into the present moment to disrupt your present moment. The thing hasn't even occurred. It likely will not even occur, but you have imagined it, made it real, and said, I'm going to bring that thing that may never happen into the present moment with me right now to disrupt my heaven. Okay? So worry is, and Jesus says this over and over, do not worry, do not worry, do not worry, do not worry. Okay? Again, it's bringing a future fear or potential future fear or failure, usually does not even manifest or happen, into the present moment, disrupting your here and now, or disrupting the kingdom of heaven here and now. Okay? That is what worry does. Okay? Then we look at Luke 8:43-48, and it says, and a woman having an issue of blood for 12 years, who had spent all of her living upon physicians, but could not be healed by any, came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood was stanched. And Jesus said, who touched me? When all denied it, Peter and those who were with him said, Master, the multitude throngs thee and press thee, and say thou who touched me? And Jesus said, somebody had touched me, for I perceive the virtue is gone out of me. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling, and falling down before him, she declared unto him before all the people of what causes she had touched him, and how she had healed immediately. And he said unto her, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith has made you whole. Go in peace. Now, when we talk about healing, did Jesus say, I made you whole? Did Jesus say, I made you whole? Is that what it say? If any of his healings, did he say, I made you whole? Because of my gift that I was given by my Father, you are now healed. Some of these preachers will have you fooled like that. He said, your faith, your belief made you whole. He said, of myself, I can do nothing. I don't know why folks don't read. Like, he literally says, of myself, I can do nothing. It is the Father in me that doeth the works. Ye will do even greater things than these. John 10:34, is it not written in your law, I have said ye are gods? Are we just like blacking these scriptures out so that they never get read? Like, it's right there. There's indoctrination by religion, and then there's what Jesus said. I ride with Jesus and his thought process on how life operates and how God operates. Okay? So this woman was plagued by shame. Okay? And shame, which is the core of this teaching, financial shame, is the opposite of worry. Shame is when we're bringing past mistakes. Okay? We're bringing past mistakes where we just missed the mark. We sinned. We missed the mark. Okay? Bringing past mistakes you feel were most caused by you into the future. So you did something in the past, right? You effed up, just straight up. You effed up. And you were still holding on to that baggage, that emotional baggage, and bringing that into your future now. You're bringing it into the present moment, even though it's in the past. Okay? That is where shame comes from. And a lot of us have financial shame. Why? Because we still, if I made some bad purchases on a credit card as a college student and messed up my credit and I have a ton of debt because of it, I still see, Julian, I still got to deal with this credit card debt. I still got to deal with this credit card debt. Yes, But the old you is who you have to forgive. The new you who is coming to Financial Church, that's a whole new being. And as that individual plants new seeds, there's going to be a new financial future that gets created. Who you have to forgive is the old you. The 18-year-old who had no financial guidance whatsoever, who was given a credit card on their birthday by these crooked credit card companies and got caught up. Not the 35-year-old you. The 35-year-old you is a new person who has a different financial awareness and therefore is going to bear different fruit coming forward. So yes, you still may be dealing with what the 19-year-old version of yourself did, but you can forgive that person and let go of the baggage so that you can be fully here and working on the 35-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old you right now. Not still being mad at the 18, 19-year-old version of you. Okay? So, again, Matthew 6, 9 through 13, it says, forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. And our greatest debtor is who, y'all? The greatest debtor is us to ourselves. We are one of them. Yeah, there may be other people who owe you certain things, but we are the greatest debtors to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to rise up in consciousness, to resurrect, to walk in our divine inheritance, to recognize that abundance is our birthright. We owe it to ourselves. We owe ourselves more than anything. A lot of people say, oh, make your haters mad. Success is the best revenge. No, I don't care about who's hating this and that. I don't care about none of that. I owe it to myself. I don't need to be doing this to prove somebody else wrong. That is not what I want my motivation to be from. This is not about anybody else. It's about me owing it to myself for coming to this realm, to this earthly experience and saying, you have all these universal laws at your fingertips. Use them and create whatever it is that you want. I owe it to myself to take full advantage of this experience called life. I am the greatest debtor to myself. I owe it to myself anytime I haven't used all of my gifts, talents, and strengths. I owe it to myself. Even if somebody owed me $50,000, I'm still more in debt to myself than that individual is to me. Somebody hurt my heart. I'm still more in debt to myself than that person whom I hurt my heart. Every time I don't show up in my fullness, in my divine essence, I'm falling short, and I owe it to myself to choose again. I don't have to have shame. I don't need to blame myself, but I get to choose again in the next moment. Not even in the next moment, in this moment. The next moment don't even exist yet. I get to choose again right now. Am I going to show up fully as the God, as the creator that I am? All right? So then there's unforgiveness. Okay? Unforgiveness is bringing past discord. Okay? There's a cord, discord. There's a cord that's still connecting the past to the present moment. So unforgiveness is bringing past discord caused by someone else into the future. I know a lot of y'all here are people of African descent. At some point, we're going to have to stop talking about slavery, y'all. At some point, we're going to have to stop talking about slavery. At some point, the Jewish people, not the real Jews, the Jewish people, they're going to have to stop talking about the Holocaust. When's the last time you've seen the people in Japan with a sign saying we will overcome? This is the Dr. Higgins said this. When these people got bombed with an atomic bomb, when's the last time you've seen them marching saying we will overcome? When's the last time you've seen them coming up with the list of demands to an oppressor? These people picked themselves up by their own bootstraps and became a world power. They didn't beg, they didn't ask, they tapped into the God and the creator that was within them. They didn't say, oh, America, you owe us some reparations for bombing Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You owe us something. When you gonna give us something for doing that to our people? When's the last time you seen Japanese people do that, y'all? Huh? One march, one list of demands. When's the last time you saw the Japanese people do that? And I don't even know what year that was. What was that, the 50s, 60s? World power. World power. Little old island. World power. At some point, we're going to have to stop talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Why? Because there's an emotional baggage attached to that. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying it doesn't have impact on you. But at some point, we as a people are going to have to get past that. Let the Jewish people talk about the Holocaust. This is why they move the way they move, is because they're moving based on fear. Oh, never again. They're moving based on fear. I don't ever want to move and have my whole way of being driven by fear. I want my whole identity and being to come from a place of love, not fear. I don't want to come from a place of hate. Okay? So at some point, I got to move beyond that. Say that happened in time. It really happened. It didn't happen directly to me. There are repercussions of that are still affecting me, but I am a God, lowercase g. I am a creator, and conditions have no power over me. And all this allows me to do is to show the world, if that particular event has led my people into poverty, then this condition that I was born into gives me the opportunity to show the world how rich I truly am. I didn't start off rich. I started off, when my people started off in poverty, and here we stand. Black financial literacy, to see where we are right now, a lot of people say we're behind because what are they using? A comparison group to white people. We ain't behind. To see what we've accomplished, despite all of that, we are doing just fine. If there was no such thing as racism, we'd be the wealthiest people on the face of this planet. Everyone would look to us. And when we transcend racism and stop waiting on racist folks and racist institutions to change, and we just say, y'all do what y'all do. I'm gonna do what I do best, which is create, because I'm a child of God, I'm a child of the creator, and I'm gonna be a God, lowercase g, and I'm gonna, and if God be for me, who can be against me? When we move in that way, say, y'all still wanna hate, y'all do that. Good for you. I'm not gonna ask you for anything. I'm not gonna march against you. I'm not gonna push against you. I'm not gonna sit at your counters. I don't need to ride your bus. I don't need to eat at your eateries. I don't need to bank at your banks. I don't need to do none of that. I'm just gonna stand in my power and I'm gonna live my life. Then we will get beyond. But as long as there's a discord, a cord that's still attached to those events and those people changing in order for me to have the life that I have, we will stay in hell on earth and not heaven on earth. Okay? No, we don't even need to take, Rashad. We don't even need to take. Why? Because creators don't take. What do creators do, y'all? We don't need to take from anybody. This is not a zero-sum game. There's no scarcity here, y'all. Scarcity is a myth. There's no scarcity here. All we do is create. There is more than enough. We ain't got to take from nobody else. That was their MO. For some reason, they got this seed of scarcity planted in them and they felt they had to take from other people. You don't have to take, y'all. Let them have that, and that. We're just going to go create. All right? So, again, I say this to you on your journey from poverty consciousness to wealth consciousness. All right? The old you was in a certain level of poverty consciousness, right? And here you are in financial church developing a wealth consciousness. That old you, the seeds that old you planted are bearing fruit in your life right now. And this is one of the things that made you come here today, okay? Because you are now experiencing the seeds. Because guess what? That 19-year-old you who bought those clothes and that shoes and that vacation, the 19-year-old you, they enjoyed that moment. The 19-year-old you who used that credit card to do all that stuff, they actually enjoyed that moment. That was heaven on earth for them, okay? But now it's the older you that is now bearing the debt of that, okay? So I'm showing you this to say, as above, so below, there's a law of correspondence. And where you are right now in your journey, I want you to give some time to catch up. So again, you are developing in your wealth consciousness, but wealth consciousness, when fully aligned, can start to manifest in your life, can start to change just like that. But I just want you to give yourself some time for the new you to actually kick into gear. For the new you, the new beliefs to kick into gear. Remember, Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. Okay, so when you see the old seed starting to reap, don't perceive that as the new you failing. When you see the old seeds start to reap, the old you that was in poverty consciousness, when you see them start to reap, you get another bill, you look at that credit card statement, etc. When you see the old you start to reap and still show up, don't look at that as you failing in the new you. Okay? You can't attribute those two things or else it's going to throw you off. You have to recognize that what you are experiencing right now on earth is the fruit from the old you, and it's some spoiled fruit. Okay? But it is not a reflection of who you are and who you're becoming. Okay? Yeah, when they say, like, when you get sick, you gotta let that sickness pass through. Okay? You could be in health conscious, you could be eating right, but there was an old sickness that had to pass through you. And you don't want to say, oh man, I'm doing all these things right, I'm eating healthy and I still got sick. No, you're doing the right thing. Stay on that course. That is a manifestation of the old you now exiting, because you cannot pour new wine into old wineskins or else they will burst. The old you is looking for a way out. And so just when you are ready to make that turn and that pivot, the old you is everything is going to come to the surface. It's just like when you're cleaning your house and you're doing a deep clean and you pick up that rug or you vacuum, you're like, ooh, everything has to come to the surface. So again, I just don't want you to attribute the fact that, oh, this teaching doesn't work, or I must be off, I'm gonna just go back, it's easier to go back, so this isn't working. Don't attribute the what is coming up to the surface to who you are and who you're becoming. Is that clear? Because that's very, very key. What you're experiencing is not who you are, it is who you were. You're reaping what you sowed or didn't sow in your past. You are not accountable. And I want to forgive you all right now. I have the power to forgive. It says, forgive us for our debts as we forgive those who sin against us, right? We have the power to forgive, y'all. Whole notion of Jesus was the only one who could forgive sins. This Lord's Prayer literally says, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. It literally says that. It does not say Jesus is the only one who can forgive sins. So you are not accountable for what you did not know. So I just want you to let yourself off the hook. You are not accountable for what you did not know. There's nobody to teach you financial literacy. There's nobody to teach you financial spirituality. So those mistakes were going to happen regardless, until you became aware that there was this thing called financial literacy or financial spirituality. And you are not accountable for things that you did not know. This is why generational wealth is not just a transfer of money. It is a transfer of knowledge. You have to take what you were learning, don't take these teachings, okay? Take these teachings, experiment with them, and if they work for you, then take those results from those experiments and go share them with all the young in your family. I'm not asking you to take my word. This is not a belief-based business. This is a knowing. I need you to go experiment and know for yourself, and then make sure you transfer that knowing to the younger generations so that they have a head start, that they don't make the same mistakes and have to dig themselves out of a hole. Okay? So, as we conclude, Matthew 13:28 to 30 says, an enemy did this, he replied. So the servant asked him, did you want us to go and pull them up? No, he said. If you pull up the weeds now, you might uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in the bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat into my barn. So as these things come to the surface with your new seeds that you're planting, do not just uproot everything, y'all, and just say, you know what, F it. Screw it, this ain't working. The two, the weeds and the wheat, the useless and the useful will grow together. And when it's time for harvest, then you can separate the two and let them go. Do not dig up these thoughts that are actually being planted into your subconscious mind and just say to hell with it all. No, know that they will grow together. They will cohabitate for a little bit, okay? Until it's time for the harvest and they fully come to the surface and you can identify which is which and say, that was the old me, you were gone. This is the new me, you were here, all right? All right, so we're gonna go into our segment right now of bringing heaven down to earth. We do not just want to be on some spiritual high. We want to make this practical. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is think about who you will ask to be your financial accountability partner or your financial advisor that you can release your financial shame to. I need you to create a 30-minute to 60-minute space in your life where you can speak to someone, perhaps someone with financial awareness, or it could be just your best friend or your significant other, where you get an opportunity to simply release all of your financial baggage verbally. I encourage you to let them know that I'm going to dump on you. I will not be able to hold you back on that very same day, but I will return the favor for you, where you can be 100% honest and vulnerable about your financial life that you may be hiding in secret, that where you may feel shameful. So I need you to declare who it is that you trust enough. It might be somebody close, or it might be someone that's kind of distant that you kind of know well. You do wherever you're going to feel the safest. But I need you to create a space in your life where you are able to share and release all of the financial shame that you've had. And I want you to laugh at it. You're going to cry, but I also want you to laugh at it because it's in the past. The past has no power over you. And here you are, a new being, elevating in your wealth consciousness. And we know that as you do that, you're going to have a richer experience of life going forward. So Joe said he's going to use his accountant, Vita, and is going to use Velvet, her sister. Rashad's going to use his certified financial planner. Fanny's going to use her aunt. Frenchie's going to use her best friend. I did this with a good friend of mine about, what was it, a few weeks ago. And it was tears, y'all. It was tears, but it was healing. It was tears, but it was healing, okay? So a lot of people using best friend, financial planner, real estate mentor, daughter. Ooh, sharing that with your daughter, that's gonna be powerful. That's gonna be powerful. Sister. Okay, Wendy wants a little bit more structure. Literally, you're asking someone to hold space for you for an hour to share your financial shame, your emotional baggage around it, your current financial situation, the reality of it, despite what your car looks like, despite what your job income is, despite what your house looks like, literally sharing the yucky, sharing the financial yuck. And you're just asking somebody to hold space for you so that you can get it out and release it. Okay? And in exchange, if they want, you will hold space for them at another time. It'll be hard for you to do yours and then, let's say, switch and do it all in the same day. Okay? And they may not want to, and that's cool. And you just keep it pushing. Okay? Does this make sense, y'all? What would I say to that person? I would say, you know, you've been a friend of mine for the past 10 years, and I trust you with my life. And I have something that I need to share with you. It's not about you at all, but I need somebody to hold space for me for an hour to talk about my financial life. I'm not asking you for financial advice. I'm not asking us to create a budget or anything like that. But I really have a lot of financial shame that's inside of me that I just need to verbalize and get out and release. And I trust you. When I was thinking about everyone, I trust you more than enough to share that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably going to cry. I'm probably going to dump a lot on you, but it's nothing for you to fix. I just need an open ear so that I can release this stuff that I've been holding for the past 20 years. And if you be open, I would love to exchange the favor, not in the same space. On another day, I'll be happy to hold space for you. If you find this experience powerful, let me know. I'm not asking you to make a decision right now. I have 2 other people on my list to consider, but if you were open to it, I would be honored for you to hold that space for me. Does that work? Does that work? All right, so this replay will be up at thefinancialchurch.com. It'll be at thefinancialchurch.com, and you can use that there. All right. So with that, let's end with our closing affirmation. I'll read it once, and then we'll read it together. I forgive me of all my debts, every financial debt, every time I missed the mark or fell short, and every unsuccess. We don't believe in failure here. We believe in unsuccess, meaning just I didn't succeed. There's no failure here. It is water under the bridge. The past has no power over me. I'm simply reaping what the old me sowed or didn't sow. But the new me is back in alignment with the universal law of giving and receiving, for God is not mocked. To escape any financial wilderness or wildness I may find myself in, I simply have to balance what I sow according to what I reap. The more I hold myself accountable and am in emotional and financial balance, the higher my bank balance will ultimately be. I am emotionally debt-free here and now. Ashe, amen, and so it is. So I'm going to, I would like you to read this with me now, aloud, mumble it, or say it with power. Don't mumble it. Don't mumble it, y'all. I know some of y'all in a private room or with family around, but say this with power, okay? 1, 2, 3. I forgive me of all my debts, every financial debt, every time I missed the mark or fell short, and every unsuccess. It is water under the bridge. The past has no power over me. I'm simply reaping what the old me sowed or didn't sow, but the new me is back in alignment with the universal law of giving and receiving, for God is not mocked. To escape any financial wilderness or wildness I may find myself in, I simply have to balance what I sow according to what I reap. The more I hold myself accountable and am in emotional and financial balance, the higher my bank balance will ultimately be. I'm emotionally debt-free here and now. Ashe, amen, and so it is. Woo. I'm gonna add one thing right here. I'm gonna add this, like for Lot's wife, I will not look back. All right. So with that, we are going to transition into our space of giving. For those of you who are new, we give differently here. This is not for my foreign car. My foreign car is actually a Honda Accord, y'all. It ain't no Ferrari, okay? I don't receive anything financially from this church. I give 100% freely from here. I spend about a day of my week to prepare for these teachings for you. So this is one way that I tithe with my time and my talent and my gift. The way we give here is we pour into what we call the faith fund, and we immediately try to give out that money to nonprofits within the next 48 hours. This is not for a building fund. It's not for a private jet. It's not for me whatsoever, okay? It goes out to nonprofits that we are going to vote on in just a second here on this call. Today, that account balance is $4,787, and I'm going to show you exactly the general ledger are all the transactions from the faith fund right now. We operate in 100% transparency here. And this is how we believe every giving in churches should occur, but unfortunately it doesn't. Money gets stored and it does not get used. Money is useless until you use it. And so we operate differently here, being an example and a demonstration. And I'm going to share the account balances with you right now. I'll show you every single transaction, okay? So let me share screen, new share. All right, so these are, and I have to show you something very special, y'all. We've been doing this in the Faith Fund since, what is that, April 12th. We've given away $14,000. We've collected $19,000 thus far. This is every single transaction. We've had 727 givings. Of course, there's many repeat givers here, but I need to show y'all something because we do this to demonstrate universal law. Last week, we gave out more money than we have ever given out. Last week, we gave out $1,400. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gave out $1,400. Let me show y'all something. Can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see my screen? Look at this, y'all. Let me show you how universal law works individually and collectively. Look at this, y'all. Last week, Bonnie had given $5 and we were at $4,719. Look at this, y'all. This is, watch this. We had $4,719. We gave away $1,400 more than we had ever given in a week, okay? Look at what happened in the past week, y'all. We have more now because we gave more. We have more money in the account now. Of course, our goal isn't to have money, but when we gave out more, the pot got replenished, y'all. We gave out more than we ever given out, and the pot got replenished and some. Our first giving, we started out giving $300 a week, right? 300. Then we moved up to 400. Then we got up to, I think this is an $800 a week, 600. Then we started giving 1,000, and we just keep giving more and more. And guess what? The pot never depletes. It never depletes. This is how the universal law works. You are all being a part of it. You are seeing a demonstration of it happening right before your eyes. Okay? So we believe that giving is a spiritual practice. When you give, you are recognizing that I do have to give from. Even if there's lack, even if there's debt in my life, I actually have something to give. And so if you are inclined to give, there's no pressure here whatsoever. We do believe in participation. We will encourage you, even if you can only give $1, okay? We encourage you to give because it says that I actually have something to give from, okay? And that moves you from a place of poverty consciousness to an abundance mindset. So the Cash App is Julian Gordon, Jullien Gordon. The Cash App is Julian Gordon, or the Venmo is also Julian Gordon. So for those of you on Instagram, the Cash App is Julian Gordon, or the Venmo is Julian Gordon, okay? None of this comes to me for any personal reason. This space that I have with you, the Financial Church, is 100% pure giving for me. I don't receive anything from this space. I earn more than enough through the multifamily movement and my other real estate ventures and my online courses, okay? I don't need to receive anything from this space. And this is what allows me to be 100% authentic in this space because I don't need to cater to I don't need to cater to anything. I get to simply share my truth 100%, okay? And again, it's my truth. I'm not trying to persuade or convince you to follow me. I'm sharing with you what has worked for me so that you may take one or two of the things that I shared today and apply them to your life. So again, it is Julian Gordon, Cash App, or Venmo. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to do it again. We're actually going to give out $2,000 this week. I'm up in the ante, y'all. We're going to give out $2,000 this week. I'm going to change all of these to $250. We're going to give $250 to 8 organizations. So right now in chat, you can put the URL of an organization that you believe in that is doing good or God's work. And that money will be distributed within 48 hours to that organization. Last week, we gave to the Royalty Project, the Homies Empowerment, jimsgirl.org, Hope for Youth, Fayetteville People's Kitchen, Sankofa 21 HBG, and the Right Way Foundation. Okay, so I'm seeing them come in. I'm copying them in now. The National Expungement Network Week. All right, the Hannah House. All right, URLs, please, URLs. All right, URLs, I need URLs, please. freeheartsong.org. Single Moms Houston. All right. All right. Beautiful. Got you, Sam. Is that my homie Sam? That's my Sam? All right. All right. So if any of these websites don't work, I have some backup ones. All right. And we will continue the giving next week. So I have enough for now, y'all. I appreciate this. This money will get distributed within 48 hours. Oh, NAMI. I love NAMI. NAMI is awesome. Okay. So again, Cash App, for those of you, I see somebody say it's not coming up. It is Julian Gordon, Jullien, Gordon, 2 L's. Make sure IEN, and then Gordon, Gordon. Okay. Yeah. 2 L's, IEN. All right. So with that, to close out, can you please let me know what was your greatest insight or takeaway from tonight? What was your greatest takeaway from tonight? This afternoon. What's your greatest takeaway? I would love to hear what resonated with you. Sorry for the darkness. I'm not at home, so I didn't have my lights. To stay the course, greatest takeaways were dwelling to manifest. Yes, you have to dwell there to manifest, okay? Just stopping by for a little quick visit is not going to cause something to manifest. I am my biggest debtor. Leave the past in the past. No looking back. Forgiveness. Living in the now. Don't look back. Believe and forgive yourself. Don't look back. We are creators. To accept what I am sowing now will take time and not be discouraged. Not to be fooled by the weeds. No regret and forgiveness. Forgive myself. Pillar of salt equals stagnation. The past is in the past. Move on. So much we create. Our thoughts are what we dwell upon, or what manifests is what we dwell upon. The cycle of guilt and forgiving, dwelling and changing of my address. God operates where I dwell. Beautiful. Perseverance, stay in the here and now. No regrets. Dwelling in the past will turn you into salt or mummify you. And forgiveness, affirmation. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's been a blessing serving you today. We will continue this series. We're actually, this series will not finish next week. Next week, we will be doing our financial accounting. Every month, we do our monthly accounting ritual where we look at our own balance sheets, right, which will tell us our net worth, and our cash flow statements, which tell us how much cash we actually really brought in this month. It'll be our revenues minus expenses. And so we take some time to do that on the closest Sunday to the beginning of the month. So that will be next week. And then part 3 of this series of Unsecure the Baggage will be the following Sunday. Okay. So thank you for everybody who came out. Shout out to all the new folks that came from Queen of Fools community and elsewhere. Thank you to all the vets who have been coming consistently. I appreciate you. And again, I will talk to you all next week. All right. Much love, y'all. Have a great evening. Peace. Oh, and for those of you in multifamily movement, I will talk to you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get ready for that. I'm about to go grab some dinner and I'll see you there. All right. Much love, y'all. Peace.